friends, this is Miss Elisa with St. Mary's County Library, bringing you another Pint-Sized Playtime. Today, I have a few more sensory play activities for babies and toddlers. As usual, these activities are meant to encourage learning and creative play through new and fun experiences. These activities can get a little messy, so I would definitely recommend either doing them outside or preparing for a massive cleanup at the end. Let's jump into the activities. First up, we have abstract window art. For this activity, I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. The first way is if you happen to have or would like to order some colored transparency sheets off of Amazon. These are super fun and they come in a multicolored pack, so you can get a ton of different colors for a reasonable price. You're first going to want to peel off the plastic of your transparency sheets and then cut them into shapes. I used our Cricut cutter to cut out hearts, clouds, and other shapes like that, but it's also super fun to let your little one take some scissors and cut their own abstract shapes out of the transparency sheets. From there, you're going to get a bowl of water, submerge your shapes, and then they'll stick to the window. This looks really cool on a sunny day. It looks nice on a gloomy day, but it definitely does not have the same effect. With the abstract ones especially, you can make different art masterpieces and play with color mixing as well. If you don't have transparency sheets, you can also do this with multicolored tissue paper. Just like the transparency sheets, you're going to cut or rip your tissue paper into different shapes and sizes. With the tissue paper, you're only going to put a little dot of water so that they will stick to the window but not totally fall apart. This is great because you can still play with color mixing, still make really cool different abstract art masterpieces, but you don't have to have the tricky material of a transparency sheet. Next up, we have Kinetic Sand. I absolutely love Kinetic Sand, and it is a must-have at every mini Monet that we have at the library. It's great because it's moldable and it has a really fun, different texture, but it's also super easy to clean up. But if you don't happen to have any kinetic sand, I have a little DIY recipe that you can make at home. It doesn't have the exact texture and it's definitely not as easy to clean up, so this is definitely an outdoor activity, but it's still a super fun sensory experience. For this activity, you're just going to need some play sand, some cornstarch, some dish soap, and some water. I did not measure my ingredients to this, I just kind of dumped it all in. And then from there, you can mix it all together with your hands and see what elements you might need to add more of. I probably could have done with a little bit more sand and cornstarch here, but I still really loved the texture of this, I guess you could call it a sand dough. Even though it doesn't exactly feel like kinetic sand and it's not quite as moldable, the sensory experience is still absolutely awesome. Next up, we have the least messy activity of the bunch, and that is a sensory bin of just colored tissue paper. So these are just extra pieces of tissue paper that I had from the abstract window art, and I just poured them into a small bin, and it made a great sensory bin. Super simple, you can toss it around like confetti, crunch it, rip it. You can pretty much do whatever you'd like with it, but it's a super fun and easy sensory activity. Next up, we have a super simple, but super fun, but super messy activity. For this, you're going to take some bubble wrap and you're going to tape it down. I would highly recommend using more tape than I did here. You'll see why later. On top of the bubble wrap, you're going to add some shaving cream, as many little mounds as you'd like, and then add food coloring or liquid watercolor to each of the shaving cream mounds. From there, you're just going to let your little one go to town. This feels awesome, and the bubble wrap really adds an extra texture experience. This can stain your little one's hands for a little bit, but it does wash off in a couple hours. Last up, we have what might be my favorite activity of the day, and that is DIY sensory toys. So for this, you're just going to need a bunch of different balloons, and then whatever you want to fill your balloons with. I tried water, I tried salt, I tried cornstarch, rice, and shaving cream. I also tried some play sand. The easiest ones were definitely the salt, water, rice, and play sand. First, you're going to inflate your balloons. Don't tie them shut because you're just going to let the air back out, but it definitely helps in the next step if your balloons have already kind of stretched out a little bit. From there, you're going to take a funnel, attach it to the end of the balloon, and then just fill each of the balloons, tying them off as you go. You wouldn't think there would be much of a difference between salt and sand inside a balloon, but they have completely different textures, weights, and feel when you start to play with them. I absolutely love these. They're like little stress balls, and you can really customize them and fill them with whatever you'd like. You could use slime, hair gel, even marbles would work. Every balloon toy is going to have a completely different feel depending on what you fill with it, and it's going to be really fun for your little one to discover the differences between each one. Those are all of the activities I have for today. Please tag us if you post any pictures or videos of your little ones doing any of these sensory activities. We would love to see them. Comment down below any of your favorite sensory play activities that you do at home with your little one, and maybe it will be featured in another Pint-Sized Playtime. Tune in next month for a fall-themed Pint-Sized Playtime where I will be doing all things autumnal.